Happy Monday to all of our Fleet Community Schools families, scholars, community supporters, and everybody that's tuning in. If you are seeing this live right now, you are watching it from our Flick Parents page on Facebook. But do us a favor, hit that share button, hit the like button. If you know of any other family members, any parents, any neighbors, any community supporters, tag them in this message. We want them to follow this video. We want them to follow this page. We want to make sure that we get this message out there for everyone to see. If you want to know what's going on with Flick Community Schools, this is the place to be. Now, this is just a little series that we started a few months ago, right before school started. It was a way for us to connect with everybody at the same time. Just a Q&A session with our very own Superintendent Steward. But this month's focus will be talking about the updates that we had to share with you about the wonderful month we had in the district for the month of November, but also some important things to know about as we get ready for our 2-week Christmas break. So I'm going to turn it over to Superintendent Steward. Good morning, Mrs. Steward. How are you today?
Good morning, Mrs. Strozier. I am doing well. How are you?
You know what? It is a true Monday, but I am okay with it. I know students are safe, teachers are working hard in the classroom, and it's going to be a fabulous week.
Absolutely, absolutely. It is going to be a great week. And I'm looking forward to December 18th when we go on break.
All right. So before we even jump into all the important business, we must know, just in case some scholars are watching, just in case some community supporters are watching, and it's the giving season. Everybody's always looking for an opportunity to give. Now, if Santa Claus was watching this live feed and they said, you know what, Superintendent Steward, what is on your wish list for Flint students? What would you tell Santa?
I would tell Santa that on my wish list is for all of my students to be safe and for all of my students to have a wonderful Christmas filled with lots of love, lots of laughter, and time to just sit back, enjoy their family, sit by, if they have a fireplace, to sit by a fireplace and have a nice hot cup of cocoa. If they do not have a fireplace, for them to just sit in their living room and just spend time with their family, laughing, loving on each other, maybe even reading a book from time to time. And I would love, 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 love on Christmas Day for them to wake up and find snow outside so that they can go outside and make angels in the snow and perhaps a snowman or two.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I could go for a cup of hot chocolate right about now.
Oh, that would be lovely, wouldn't it? Now, I just want snow on Christmas Day.
Oh, just
After Christmas Day, the snow can go away, but just snow on Christmas Day so that they can make snow angels and a snowman or two, and then for the snow to melt and go away after Christmas Day.
wait with that plan. I really could.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Miss Ashley? What's on your list for Christmas if you could share that information with Santa?
I would, you know what? My children need a bigger library.
Okay.
Their teachers have been very good with providing additional support and sending home books, and not just textbooks, but different pieces of literature for them to read. And
Uh-huh.
they're running out of space on their bookshelf. So we're pretty sure that Santa's going to be bringing 2 brand new bookshelves in the household. But I would like the same thing as you, for children to be safe and fun and have a nice, relaxing, enjoyable Christmas time. Have a couple of Zoom calls, maybe
Mhm.
do some fun Christmas ugly sweaters on Zoom and on Facebook portal, but just the time to create brand new memories. I'm looking forward to that.
As well. And I would also add one other thing. Christmas time is a time for giving. And a lot of people just want to receive. But if you could find it within your heart to just give to someone, if it's just 5 minutes, if it's 10 minutes of your time, if there's something that you can do, perhaps there's a neighbor in need of some yard work, go outside and help them. But just think about, how can I give back this Christmas? Not the expectation of receiving, but the expectation to take time and give to someone, whether it's a couple minutes of your time, whether it's a family that you know that needs something. How can you help meet their need? Just think about giving back for the year of Christmas 2020. How can I give back?
Now, what should someone do if they wanted to give back to the district or if they wanted to adopt the nearest elementary, middle school, or high school in their neighborhood? How would you suggest that they go about that?
Just contact the principal of the school that you want to donate. And you can contact that principal either by phone or by email. Most of us, our email address is very simple and easy. It's the first letter of your first name, your last name at flintschools.org. So if you wanted to contact me, I am a steward with a D at flintschools.org. And most administrators, their email address is the same. So you can contact them by phone or by email and let them know what it is that you would like to do. We would love for an organization or a family to adopt a school. That would be a great Christmas gift for some of our scholars.
All right. So, it's not just Christmas time that people are giving. I would probably say that the month of November for Flint Community Schools, we should just rename the entire month to Givesvember because our families were given so much love in the month of November. Would you care to maybe highlight some of the great things that took place last month?
Absolutely. So if you can see my screen, on my screen, I have the e-newsletter that went out to our families this past weekend. You should have received it in your email either on Friday or Saturday. If you did not receive the e-newsletter, please email superintendent at flintschools.org so that we can make sure that you are a part of our email list. And so every month, starting with the very first one was the month of December, every month I will be sending out an e-newsletter to just let our families know what's going on in Flint Community Schools. So on your screen, you should see, is it appearing on the screen, Miss Ashley?
Oh, yeah, I see it here.
It's the December e-newsletter, and it starts off with a letter from the superintendent. And then there's some other information. But what I would like to highlight for you is the month of November that Mrs. Ashley just shared about was just the month of giving. So in the month of November, we participated in partnership with Sodexo Magic, our Holiday Hope. And it's our annual event where we give away food to our families. And we were fortunate enough to bless 750 families with food. And so here you see how we were transporting the food from the school and we loaded it up in each and every one's vehicle. So you did not have to get out. We practiced safety measures. All you had to do was pop your trunk. If you popped your trunk, we loaded the food into your trunk. And so here you see some highlights of some of our people giving food to our families. And once again, there were 750 families that we were able to bless with canned goods and a turkey.
So as we get ready for the Christmas month and we get 2 weeks off of break for, time to relax and spend time with family and to kind of rejuvenate to come back in January ready to move forward into a great new year, what are some tips that families should start preparing for right now?
So one of the things that we want our families to do, we want them to practice the safety measures with the technology. Flint was very fortunate that we were able to give a device and a hotspot to any of our scholars who stated that they were in need of a device and a hotspot. So as we are approaching the Christmas break, we want our families to, one, find a secure location where they can put the device and the hotspot. Plug it, put it in that secure location so that when we come back to school in January, your device and your hotspot will be safe, ready for you to plug back in and start school up. If you have a closet, you might want to store it in your closet. Under your bed, you can store it under your bed. If you have a cabinet that is not being utilized, you can store your device or your hotspot inside of that cabinet. But think of a safe and secure spot where you can unplug your device and put it so that it will not be damaged or lost over the 2-week Christmas break. And so we want our families to start thinking about that. Where can I store my device so that it will be safe and we will not lose it over the 2-week Christmas break?
Now, what happens in those very rare occasions where a device is damaged in some way, shape, form, or fashion, and then the parent calls the school? What happens to that student's device? Is there a charge or a replacement fee that the
Mhm.
parents are expected to pay? Because these things happen. We know the accidentals happen, but what is the normal procedure if there is a such thing?
So we want to avoid accidents as much as we possibly can. So we're asking our scholars to be very careful with the device. If you have to transport the device from one table to another, please be very careful with it. Hold it with two hands as you're moving from one location to another location so that you do not drop it, you don't destroy it. At the end of the day, we want our scholars to unplug their device and put it in a secure location so that it can be charged overnight so that the next day it's ready to go. Try not to leave it out on the coffee table or on the dinner table or on the dining room table during the day because that's where people, tend to sit and eat, and most likely it would be easy for someone to spill something and it get on the device. In the case where you do happen to damage your device, we want you to contact the school immediately, contact your teacher immediately, contact your principal immediately, and let them know that your device was damaged. Give them the information of how it was damaged, and we will replace the device so that you can continue on with school the next day. We would ask that the parent would bring the damaged device to the school so that we can assess the situation and figure out what happened. In some cases, it can be repaired. If it can't be repaired, we will give the scholar another device so that he or she can continue on with their education the next day. We're asking our parents and we're asking our scholars, please be extremely careful with these devices and try not to damage them. Try to make sure that they're placed in a secure location so that they're not damaged overnight.
Sounds like a plan to me. So after December 17th or 18th, whatever that Friday is, when my children are done, I need to take those devices, give them one good last charge, and put them in the closet because they won't
Yes,
need them for 2 weeks unless they want to maybe read a book on Epic or do some fun activities on Study Island. But if it's not being used for academic time, it should be put away. So we
we
should
want
be
it to be
watching
put away.
videos, or when the
Mhm.
cousins come over for the holiday to exchange gifts. We shouldn't be watching YouTube and learning
No.
the new dance moves. We need to put the school device away.
Yes, the school device is for educational purpose. It is for you to be able to connect with your teacher so that you can do your instructional learning for the day. So we're asking that on December 18th, when you finish with class, whether it's at 2 o'clock, 2:30, or 3:30, we want you to unplug your device and to put it in that secure location. We're asking that on January 3rd, you take your device out of that secure location on Sunday, January 3rd, and you plug it up so that it can charge overnight and you can be ready for class on Monday, January 4th.
So, what will January look like for our scholars in Flint Community Schools?
So when they return in January, which is why we're asking them to take their device out of that secure location on January 3rd, plug it in so that it can be charged and ready to go on January 4th, our kids will return to online instruction starting January 4th. We are continuing to work with the public and the medical community to figure out when is the best time to bring our scholars back to face instruction. And right now, due to the positivity rate of the coronavirus, it's just not safe to bring our staff or our scholars back to school. So we're going to continue with online instruction. So starting January 4th, they will go back to their online instruction with their teacher and their peers.
Now, We know that we've been virtual for quite some time now, and a lot of people have gotten the hang of it. They've made the
Yes.
adjustments. They've become tech savvy in just a few weeks because this is what we had to do to
Mhm.
make sure that our students and our scholars were successful. But for those individuals that are still struggling, whether it's a student, whether it's a parent, a grandparent, an auntie, or uncle, or whomever, what continuous resources will we have available to help those so that the students
Mhm.
are not falling behind?
Well, our parent engagement advocates have done an amazing job of having monthly sessions to educate our parents on how to navigate issues and barriers that they may be facing in this season of us doing online instruction. So I have to give kudos to the family engagement advocates. They have held parent universities, and during their monthly PAC meetings, there's always a session on one of the issues that parents have raised that they're facing. So, shout out to those people. Shout out to you, Mrs. Strozier, because you are one of our family engagement advocates. I have seen many live Facebook sessions that you have held just to just to inform and teach our parents how to navigate through this remote season. So I give major kudos to each and every family engagement advocate. You can also reach out to your child's teacher. They have office hours in the morning and they will help you with any issues that you are facing. Reach out to your principal, the principal of your school, and let them know what issues you're facing, and they will help you navigate through those issues. Our community school directors have been phenomenal with having sessions for our students as well as our scholars. So, as you can see, we have a wealth of people who are ready to be hands on and help our families with issues that they're facing. So just reach out to your school, whether it's by phone, whether it's by email, send them a message, call them, leave a message. We're ready to assist and help in any way that we can.
And so, because we know our district supports the whole child model, it's not just everything academic. We know that health plays into it. We know that family support plays into it. Mental health plays into it. And we know that this
Yes.
has been a very trying year. It's had its good points, it's had its negative points. This year has been a complete roller coaster, even when you take the academic piece out of it. Just the things that families and scholars are dealing with personally
Mhm.
affect their progress and their success rates in the classroom. So, with that being said, we know that there are different support options available for those families that are struggling with the holiday time, that just feel like the weight of the world is on their shoulders. And what resources do we have to provide support for our families' emotional issues or emotional needs that they may have?
Mhm. So we have an amazing wellness team, and our wellness team, they have been reaching out to our parents weekly, just contacting them to see, what's going on with the child, what's going on with the family, how we can support the family, how we can wrap our arms around our families, how we can um, put them in touch with resources and agencies within the community to help them with their needs. And so those weekly calls have been just phenomenal with collecting data to see what's going on with our families and how we can help them. Our wellness teams, they're made up of the family engagement advocates, the behavior specialists, the social workers, the clinical therapists, the community health service people that are in our schools. And those are the ones who've been making the weekly phone calls just to get in contact with our families. And I believe that at this point in time, Ashley, we have made over 8,000 phone calls to our families just to make contact with them and figure out what is going on with them, both academically as well as emotional and socially, and just helping them to navigate through those issues and barriers that they may be facing during this time of going through a pandemic.
And so, just in case somebody is watching and they're not aware of the different moving pieces that is involved with this and making sure that scholars are okay, What happens in a situation where somebody calls to check on a student and there's no answer? What are the
Mhm,
additional steps that we take as a district that everybody should be aware of, that we're
mhm.
making sure that our students are okay?
Yes. So our wellness teams, they make a couple phone calls, and after 2 or 3 times of not being able to reach the family, they go out and they make a home visit just to lay their eyes on the child and make sure that the child is okay. And I have to once again give my hats off to the amazing people, the family engagement advocates, the behavior specialists, the attendance agents, the clinical therapists, the social workers in each of our schools um, who have taken their time, not necessarily taking their time because it's our responsibility, but who make these home visits every month to our families just to make sure that they're okay. And so after a couple of times of not being able to reach the child, this team will go out to the home to figure out why they were not able to get in contact with the family by phone, and just to make sure that the family is okay. And if there's something going on with the family, figuring out how to help them to receive the support that they need during that time.
So, because we know that life still occurs even when the school is on break,
Mhm.
sometimes families may have different challenges that occur while we are away from the district for those 2 weeks off. Is there a way for families to still contact somebody if something occurs and they need some community support?
So we would ask that you would email us because during the 2 week break, we would be off on break as well. But many of us still check our emails. So if so, you're facing an issue over the 2 week break, please email us. If you call and leave a voicemail, we will not receive that voicemail until January 4th. So the best way to contact us over the 2 week break to let us know that there's something going on is by email so that we can help you and support you during the Christmas break.
All right. Well, looking forward into 2021, what great things can we expect from Flick Community Schools starting next year?
So starting next year, I will say, Ms. Ashley, before we go into 2021, 2020 has been it's been a rocky year. We've had some challenges dealing with the pandemic, but I have to give major kudos to the staff and the parents who we had to work through this together. We had to figure this out together, and we've done an amazing job of working collaboratively to figure this out, to make sure that we were doing what's best for the scholars. We may not have always got it right, but we worked hard to fix it, and to make sure that we were back on the right path. And so I just have to give, my hats off to, once again, staff and parents for working with us to help us figure this out and to make sure that this season of online learning was a very smooth season for our scholars. Going into 2021, we will continue to be online, continue to work with our parents and the community, and trying to make this school year be the best that it can be. Our teachers have been engaged in professional development. We had a professional development this past Saturday where administrators, teachers, some of our family engagement advocates and our behavior specialists were all participating in a remote professional development from 9 to 3 o'clock. We were online, on Zoom, learning how to best fit the needs of, to best meet the needs of our scholars during this distance learning season. And so we're going to continue to participate in professional development so that we can make sure that we have all the tools that we need in our toolbox to be able to instruct and teach our scholars during this season, to be able to keep them engaged while we're doing online instruction. So we're going to continue to do that for 21, and I am hoping that soon in 21, we will all be able to be back in a school building so that I can hear the pitter patter of feet and productive noise coming from all of the classrooms. So I'm hoping that that will happen in 21. If not, we will continue with online instruction, and we will continue with learning how we can best meet the needs of our scholars in 21.
So I know that at our last conversation, you mentioned some changes being made to the buildings. What were some of those changes that are being made in the process for
Mhm.
when that day comes and we can return back to face so that students and staff members are being safe?
Yes. So all of our buildings have all of the necessary PPE in place to ensure that our staff and our scholars are safe. We have the floors have been marked so that people know which direction to travel when they're in the hallway. We have the 6 feet uh, social distancing decals that are on the floor so that our scholars will make sure that they're practicing the 6 foot social distancing. We have plexiglass that have been put on some of our counters and desks so that we can keep our staff and our scholars safe. We have signs that are on the wall that remind you if you're sick to stay at home. And it also reminds you to mask up and make sure that you keep your mask on at all times. We have some plexiglass, some safety barriers, sneeze guards, that's what they're called, sneeze guards, that we have purchased for the desk of some of our scholars who have elected to come back face to face. So some of our scholars will have the sneeze guards that go on the desk to kind of keep them safe when they're in the classrooms. We have sanitizing stations that are placed throughout our buildings so that our staff and scholars can sanitize often. We have temperature gauges that we've purchased so that we can take the temperature of our staff and our scholars as they are entering the buildings. So those are some of the things that we have put in place as far as PPE to ensure that we are keeping our staff and our scholars as safe as we possibly can when they enter the building.
And we did have one question that came through, and honestly, it's a question I didn't even think about. So, with all of our students being virtual, what happens when Michigan turns into a white winter snow and there's a lot of snow? Will students
Mhm.
still have a snow day, or how does that work when everybody's virtual?
So one of the things that I do believe in our staff and our scholars having the traditional snow day. As a child, I can remember having a snow day and waking up and school was canceled. And I was just like super, super excited because I was going to get an opportunity to go out and play in the snow and build a snowman or make snow angels. It's an opportunity for kids to continue learning, but learning in a different way. And so I don't know that, I'm going to be one of those superintendents who's going to say, well, we're virtual so our kids can continue learning. I'm leaning on the side of being able to continue the traditional snow day if we wake up and it's a lot of snow. I want my families to be able to bake cookies or sit by the fireplace or snuggle up on the couch with their favorite blanket and read their favorite book or watch a good movie, drink hot chocolate. I want the staff to be able to take advantage of snow days and be able to enjoy those days with their families as well. So if it's a lot of snow, Mrs. Strozier, we may be looking at having a traditional snow day like we normally have.
All right. Well, I believe
Some of those traditions we just have to hold on to, Miss Strozier. It doesn't mean that we throw them out the door. Some
that's
of those
true.
traditions, our families, our scholars, our staff, they're looking forward to having, and so we're gonna continue some of the traditions that we have. Now, if it's light snow and it's a dusting of snow that's outside, we're gonna continue school. But if we wake up and it's a lot of snow, I'm looking forward to having a traditional snow day.
And that was a good question that
It was a
parent
great
posed,
question.
because it looks as if this parent has to drop their children off at a grandparent's house.
Mm,
If there's snow, how are we going to travel to get there
yeah,
safely? So
yeah.
it's a lot of things that play into it. So
Let's look forward to putting our hats, our scarves, our gloves on, bundling up in our coats, and going outside and having some fun in the snow.
and I'm happy that you mentioned hats and gloves and scarves, because normally around this time of the year, we're giving out these huge collections of hats and gloves so that our students are being safe.
Yeah.
So if parents, if your child is in need of those hats and gloves, please make sure you reach out to your family engagement facilitator. Just because we are not physically in the building all the time or on a regular basis, what you're used to us being in the building on our schedule, we still have those resources. We do not want your children being cold. So if you need hats, gloves, if you need other resources, coats, if you need financial resources, if you need help with getting Christmas together, we do not want any of our families being cold. We do not want any of our families being hungry, not just over the 2 weeks that we are off from school, but that's any time during the school year. So please make sure you reach out to your family engagement facilitator, your secretary, your building principal, have a conversation with your teacher, but please do not allow this time of the year to keep you to yourself where you're at home struggling. We do not want anybody struggling.
Absolutely. That's a very good point, Mrs. Strozier. Thank you for lifting that.
So, all righty. Well, did you have anything else to share with us today on this bright Monday?
So before we disconnect, I just want to remind our students that December 18th is the last day of school before we go on our 2-week winter break. And we want to remind you to unplug your device and put it away in a secure place where it will be safe and not damaged over the 2-week break. Then we want you to take it out on January 3rd, plug it up so that it will be charged and ready to go on the morning of January 4th when we return from our Christmas break to our online classroom. And I just want to say to all, be safe. Have a wonderful Christmas break where you're able to spend time with your family, love, laugh as much as you possibly can, and enjoy the time with your family over the 2-week Christmas break. And we look forward to seeing each and every one of you on January 4th for the new year of 21.
And then before we close out, parents, if you're watching this, make sure you check in the day before we start our break, Thursday, December the 17th at 9:30. We will be holding our monthly virtual Title I citywide parent meeting. The host for this month is Pierce Elementary. And so make sure you get in contact with Ms. Quita Wright, who's the family engagement facilitator at that building. We expect to see all those Pierce Panthers. I think that's their mask. Are they Panthers? All right, I got it right. So maybe not, but no, that's
No, it doesn't say.
I don't know, but you know what? We want all those parents to come out from Pierce. Make sure not just our Pierce families, but all of our students across the district, all of our parents across the district, make sure you tune into that citywide meeting, because December is always a fun meeting. Pierce always gives us lots of love, and they send us off on Christmas break feeling wonderful. So you don't want to miss out on that meeting. There are always giveaways for our parents that tune in. You can watch it from this page right here. I'm not sure if you're watching it from a school's page, if you're watching it from the district's page, but make sure you click into the Flint Parents page or any of our pages that will be sharing that post that day. If you have any questions, get in contact with your family engagement facilitator, but you do not want to miss out on that monthly citywide parent meeting. Make sure you hit the like button if you're catching this video in a replay, share it with another parent, with another community member. And at the end of the day, make sure that you are masking up to keep yourself safe, to keep your family safe, and to just be a better community. Thank you, Mrs. Stewart, for taking time to chat with us and to give us all those wonderful updates.
Thank you, Mrs. Strozier. I appreciate you so much. You are a jewel to the district. And I just thank you for all that you do each and every day for our families, for our parents, for our scholars. We could not do the things that we do in the district without you and without the other family engagement advocates. We just love you guys so much. We appreciate you. We thank you for your dedication to the district. Many people do not know, but you guys go above and beyond the call of duty every single day. And so I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you. And thank you to all of the other family engagement advocates. You guys are phenomenal.
I have the wonderful privilege of working with some of the best family engagement facilitators in the entire world. And I know that we're all doing this because this is hard work. We care about our students, we care about our families, going above and beyond. That's just the norm for us. So we're excited, but we know that 2021, we made it through 2020. 2021
We made it.
be an
We
amazing
made it.
year.
We're almost there. Almost there. We got what?
Just a few weeks.
2 more days. We're almost there.
All right, Flint families, make sure you are safe, and we will see you all soon.
Bye, Jaguars.